Hello everyone. Today I want to share the importance of discernment, of discerning our thoughts and emotion and our ideas. As you know, we are in the midst of spiritual warfare. Every day is a spiritual warfare. There are times that we feel emotions and thoughts and ideas that are not for our benevolence. Just like how I talked about in the video about the psychic attacks I experienced. First of all, it's important to love ourselves and listen to what our soul truly desires. Our soul knows what's the best for us and for our best interest. But being able to discern which voice comes from your soul is important, and how the sound of your voice sounds like and how it feels like. That's very important. You must know thyself. As I feel that many are always misled to follow something that's not for their own good, for their highest good and highest potential. So I would like to list out the four categories. This is what I usually do and what I created recently. So 4 categories. One is logic, emotions, resonance, and sensation. These 4 words, okay, some of them may seem confusing, but I'll go over them. Whenever an idea pops out, use these 4 stages to go through the process and see if they pass the test. If they don't, chances are this idea is not good. So the first is logic. This is more of a human knowledge reasoning, so it's a lot more straightforward. So you want to ask yourself, is the reason reasonable for you? Is it logical for your soul's well-being? Let's say my thought is telling me I want to wear a dress. I would ask, why do I want to wear a dress? You may hear different voices coming out. It could be, I want to wear a dress to heal my feminine wound because my feminine feels blocked and I feel that it would open my feminine. Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. Or, I want to wear a dress because that is what my soul truly wants for me. This is also very reasonable. It's very straightforward and honest. And usually if it's honest and straightforward, it's usually a good thing. But you need to make sure it resonates inside of you. Know that when something is false, it is usually not from your soul. Because our soul does not force us to do something. It's never feel like we have to do this to do something, because nothing is absolute. Okay, let me give you an example for a bad human reasoning. The example is, I want to wear a dress because I hate how this world shames men with dresses and I want to rebel against it. So this comes from a intention of hate, intention of anger. So this obviously logically is a bad reasoning. It's not coming out from love. It comes from a conflicting mentality, which also goes against my purpose of healing the feminine. The conflicting mentality literally damaged the pure feminine too. So I hope this gives you an idea what the logic is. And let's go to the second one, which is emotions. This can also be very tricky because usually emotions can be chaotic, and emotions are mostly vulnerable, especially for us. We get really tied up with our emotions most of the time, and every time that when we do something bad, it usually is emotionally related. And this is very true, I can confirm that. A lot of the incidents too, like school shooting, and all the bad crimes that people do also come out of like emotions, and this has to do with attacks and astral attacks and entity attachments as well. And unfortunately, this is a reality that we live in. So that's why we need to safeguard ourselves, our emotions, and build inner structure. But let me go through this second stage. So you want to ask yourself, how does your emotion react to this? What are your emotional reactions? Keep in mind, emotions have 2 layers. You can be aware of your emotions, but do not resonate with how you feel with the emotion. Usually that's how you will realize you are affected by other energies that are not from you. But my point is, usually your body and soul knows what's the best for you. And how does your emotion react? Is it happy? Is it excited? Is it peaceful? Or is it angry, depressed, or hateful? Now, if you're happy, you pass the emotional test. If it's any other negative emotions, move on, okay? You don't have to pass all the 4 tests. I want to make it clear. But you want to pass 3 of the tests, if possible. So, the third is resonance. This is probably the most important aspect. I would say it factors 55% of importance. If you fail this, most likely you fail the entire test. Oh yeah, also I want to point out about the previous part, about the emotion part. I just want to say you don't have to pass all the tests, because sometimes some of these parts can be not from you. And you realize that, let's say the emotions are not from you, but you passed all the other 3 tests. Then you're good to go. I think you can, you know where to expand from there. But anyways. So resonance is different from emotions, in my opinion. If it resonates, you feel great peace. If it doesn't, it just doesn't tick. It doesn't feel right. It just feels like something is missing and something is not, something is not balanced. You may feel a bit that something is off and something feels forced. You may feel uncomfortable. Now that's a big one, uncomfortable. Remember that. But you just know if it's right for you. Ask your soul. Ask it. Take me to the place where I can truly be happy. And then follow what comes next. Ask this and then follow. This is why it's so important to build and nurture our intuition. Does your soul resonate with the idea of wearing a dress? Does your soul resonate with how the emotions and human logic respond to the idea? If it does, great! Remember, resonance is how our soul communicates with us, directly to us. So that's why it's the most honest feeling and the most accurate feeling. But there are rare times when entities can masquerade these feelings to make us think it resonates. And that's where the other 3 checklists comes to play. So it is frustrating, okay? It is frustrating that, sometimes it's rare, I would say, but it's still worth to note that it may not be from you. But it's rare. It's rare. Usually entities come from emotions, usually from my experience. The last one, sensation. I'll explain this. How are you sensing things? This one is tricky, but I'll explain it the best way possible. When the idea comes out, for example, wearing a dress, are you able to feel and sense your soul? You see, the soul doesn't normally experience life fully. In fact, it astral travels to a different consciousness, or leaves the body to avoid being greatly traumatized and damaged. And by astral traveling, always our consciousness, whenever we are not in the present moment, our consciousness shifts to many different places. And when we are, dealing trauma and dealing with pain, our soul sometimes leaves the body too, many times actually. When we are dealing with something harmful and damaging, many parts of our soul will choose to leave the body. Sometimes the whole soul even. Just like during the crucifixion of Yeshua, his soul completely left the body so that it is not wounded nor damaged, to avoid the soul being traumatized. Because the soul is so important and so sacred to us. The problem is, when our soul leaves, it's harder to feel it. It feels a lot fainter. And even drowsy, dare I say, you feel lifeless. And you can feel thoughts and ideas stronger that aren't even from you yourself when your soul is not there, because you just don't feel your soul and you feel more of the other aspects that could not even be from you. It's almost like a semi-possession, the way I say it, but our will is not possessed. We are not possessed. It's not, it feels like it, but it's not. It's just we are more affected by outside energies and outside forces. Try this. Whenever you feel this feeling of drowsiness or lifeless, that you can't feel your soul, stay in the present moment. Put yourself in a present moment. Feel your surrounding environment. Feel yourself, your soul. Are you able to feel your whole inner essence? If you are, good. Allow yourself to stay in composure and slowly integrate back to the present. If not, slowly feel your soul and bring the pieces back together. Picture it, visualize. The feeling is, if you are able to feel your full soul, you feel whole, you feel complete. That's the best way I can describe to you. So there are 4 levels of check. The first one, logical reasoning. The second, emotions. The third, resonance. And the fourth, sensations. The last 2 being very crucial, because this involves in a higher level of consciousness and dimensions. The first 2 is more like the 3rd dimension and the 4th dimension. Emotion is more of the astral dimension. Logic is more like 3D because it's human reasoning logic. So usually what is right feels very light. So usually when it feels right, you feel very light and peaceful. It is not forced, it is not stressful, and you are not being ordered to do something. It's just simply soothing. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also offer Akashic Record sessions on my website at manifestyourideadreams.com. I'll leave the link in the description below. Much love and peace.